In this case right here is arguably the best promo tin set of all time. But one of these is not like the others. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at the reverse foil BPT promo cards. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the 2002 booster pack tins. This is the first wave of booster tins released in the TCG. If you don't know what TCG means, it's the abbreviation for the North American version of the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game, derived from OCG, which is the original card game originating in Japan. Interestingly, the TCG tin releases are one of the only products that debuted on the TCG side first. If you check the release dates of the collector OCG tins, they all came after their predecessor in the TCG. Usually, the OCG inspires the TCG in terms of products, cards, and releases, but this time the relationship was reversed. These tins were released in October of 2002 as a set of 6 and packaged 2 sets to a case. The tins are decorated with a character and what's called a cover card. This is simply the image on the front of the tin denoting what promotional card awaits you on the inside. Of the 6 tins, there are 2 with Yugi, 2 with Kaiba, and 2 with Joey, and 6 different cover cards. The Yugi tins have Dark Magician and Summon Skull, the Kaibas have Blue Eyes and Lord of D, and the Joeys obviously have Red Eyes and Beast Skull Dragon. This tin set, in my opinion, is one of the strongest tin releases in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! As the artworks are considered home runs for the most part, the only exception being, in my opinion, the Lord of D, which is the only dud in this tin set. Also, it's unfortunate that I have to bring this up, but I think it's a must. These tins also contain what is, in my opinion, the biggest travesty Konami ever committed in any of their releases. It is with a heavy heart that I have to tell you that Konami had the audacity to release the LOB Blue Eyes artwork in these tins in place of the original starter deck Kaiba art.
How dare you!
This is probably one of the biggest missed opportunities by Konami ever, and in my opinion, this tin set would have been absolutely through the roof if they had the original art in there. Otherwise though, I absolutely love these tins. I think the Dark Magician is one of the top 5 mass-produced cards of all time. I really love the way that it looks, the way that the secret rare shines. It's just amazing. But that's that. Let's move on to the next topic of discussion, which is the value. These tins have some of the highest value out of any collectible tin out there. Even though the promo cards on the inside are not considered rare by any means, I actually find the dynamic within this tin set to be quite interesting, because despite the availability of the promo cards in existence, the quality of them is just the complete opposite. It is next to impossible to find these same cards in near mint to mint condition. Like, it's honestly kind of daunting because, you know, you have to deal with such a huge quantity that you have to sift through in order to be able to find one in a decent condition. This makes it kind of like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's a much bigger challenge than, you know, finding a rare, good condition card. But the graded card value is not the only value proposition that these tins have. These tins actually have something called Square Logo Konami packs. They contain 2 Legend of Blue Eyes, 2 Meta Raiders, and 1 Magic Ruler, all Square Logo. You're probably asking, what the heck is Square Logo? Well, Square Logo is basically how Konami branded themselves in the earlier days of Yu-Gi-Oh! What I mean by this is every product released had a symbol on the top left-hand corner with a red and orange wavy diagonal pattern, and then Konami's name is written right underneath, all contained within a white square. This logo lasted from the first release of Legend of Blue Eyes all the way up to Labyrinth of Nightmare, unlimited booster boxes only. After April 1st, 2003, Konami decided to change their logo completely to the one that most people are familiar with today, which is basically Konami's name in the red banner. This was done to celebrate their 30th anniversary, and there has been little to no variation since then. So now you might be asking, why am I even talking about the Konami logo? This is actually important to understanding the value that's contained in this 2002 set. In the Yu-Gi-Oh sphere, Konami can and will reprint any and all unlimited products, whether retired in the past or not. This includes booster packs like Legend of Blue Eyes, Metal Raiders, and Magic Ruler. What's special about the Square logo here is that because Konami rebranded, they are not going to be able to re-release these packs with that original logo. An example of this would be when LOB got reprinted. Even in the tin set that comes right after this one in 2003, even that one had a different LOB Konami logo. The Legendary Collection, same story. Although all these packs are still considered LOB, they all have that new Konami logo along with different seals and crimps. This square symbol not only is a reminder of Konami's rebranding, but it guarantees that the products sporting it are not reprints and will never be reprinted. This is very important to anybody who is investing in older sealed product. It's also important to any high-end collector who is trying to purchase original packs without paying the premium that the first edition packs demand. I believe that as first edition packs become more and more scarce, and as a result increasingly expensive, the limited supply of Square logo packs will be held in much higher value by collectors all around the world. These packs are what make these tins so expensive compared to anything else released in a TCG, in my opinion. When it comes to the collector tin, this tin set of 6 is arguably the most expensive mass-produced promo item in Yu-Gi-Oh, with the individual tins fetching anywhere from 700 USD all the way up to 1200 USD, depending on the cover art, obviously. The packs alone are valued quite highly, totaling at least $350 US. The LOB packs are an easy $100 each, the MRDs are $60 each, and the MRL is $30 each. The most prominent tin in this set is obviously the Dark Magician, and then the Red Eyes, which is also secret rare original art. So that's the origin of these tins. Now I want to get to why I'm actually making this video. If you don't know, these tins have a chance of pulling something called a reverse foil promo card. This refers to the secret rare pattern present on all the promo cards inside this set. Regular secret rare foiling consists of lines traveling from the bottom left of the card all the way up to the top right. A reverse foil misprint is where the foiling travels from the top left all the way down to the bottom right. These misprints are not that rare, but they do command a little bit of a premium when compared to the regular foils on the aftermarket. I'm making this video because I believe I figured out how you can tell if your tin contains a regular secret rare foil or a misprint reverse foil without ever actually having to open it up. So without further ado, let's get into it. So when I first went looking to find some sort of consistent method to differentiate between regular and reverse foil tins, I started with the most obvious thing I always look for: differences in the color, the text, the artworks on the exterior tin itself. Unfortunately, they were all the exact same. I found no differences at all. I tried to compare the thickness of the text, all of that. Trust me, there was no differences. The only thing left that I had to examine was the actual wrapper, in hopes that between the two different print runs, they changed some things. I actually thought that the wrappers might exhibit some sort of variation in the sealing process, so I laid out the 30 or so tins that I have and started comparing the seals. I looked for glue similarities, I looked for the way that the seal comes together, the plastic edging. I tried to look for how the corners are formed, if they are flat or if they are pointy. I had some theories based on what I'd seen up to this point, but none of the evidence was solid enough to kind of warrant actually opening the tins to confirm my suspicions. So that's when I turned to YouTube. I usually use YouTube to aid me in my search. So I started watching other people open their tins so that I can maybe reach a more concrete conclusion. I watched every single video I could find for every single one of these 6 tins in order to identify any commonalities in the wrappers of the tins that yielded reverse foils. It got to the point where I was actually trying to guess what the guy was going to pull before he even opened the tin to see if I've managed to figure out, you know, that magic formula. After days of watching videos and searching, I really couldn't find anything consistent enough for me to say, okay, it's worth opening these tins. So it was back to the drawing board, aka my office floor, surrounded by these exact same tins. And this is where it got interesting. I was sitting there racking my brain, trying to see if something would jump out at me. As the sun kind of peeked through the window, it hit one of the tins and it really caught my eye. Some wrappers were matte and others were glossy. Eureka, I think I found it. Based on the fact that reverse foils are considered to be rarer than regular foils, and that I had significantly less glossy tins than matte, I came to the assumption that glossy tins contained reverse foils. Luckily, one of the tins that I received from a past mail day came extremely beat up. If you haven't seen that video, you can click the top right here and check it out. This tin was a B-Skull Dragon tin with a matte wrapper. I also looked for a similar tin in similar condition, and I happened to have a Summon Skull with a glossy wrapper that was also in pretty bad shape. Now it was time to open them and test my theory. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to do another video where I embarrassed myself like last time, so I had to make sure I had some actual data to report before I even filmed anything. What I did was, to keep the excitement up, I asked my wife to open both tins and let me know if there was any differences in the promos or if it was worth doing a video on it. She went in the other room, opened them up, and came back. When I asked if what I predicted was true, she said, sort of. I was like, sort of? She told me it's worth doing the reveal on video, even though she did not confirm my theory. So we're gonna open these tins together and see what my wife meant by sort of. Let's get into it. And we're gonna bring the two tins that she opened. Now, I have no idea what was in here. I have to be honest with you. I have not looked. So now it's the moment of truth. Hopefully, I didn't just waste like $1,500 worth of YuGiOh product down the drain. One thing I want to point out is you can see the difference here. Take a look at the matte finish on this wrapper right here. And then this one is super glossy. It's even actually more crunchy than this one is, which is very interesting. So this is the B-Skull tin, which had the matte wrapper, and I assume that the card on the inside will be a regular foil rare. So here's the two LOB packs, and you can see that there's a square logo at the top right, two MRDs. What's actually interesting is that the MRD doesn't have the black border that the LOB has. So maybe that was another iteration of that Konami logo. A magic ruler pack, and oh, look at that. She sleeved it. I taught her well. I want to show you the inside of this. There's a lot of scuffing and all that right here. What I just realized, now I see what she means by sort of. The card is reverse foil. So this means that matte tins have, so I was right. The wrapper definitely distinguishes, but it's the opposite. It's the reverse. So it seems like matte wrappers have reverse foil cards on the inside, and then I believe that this should have regular foiling on the inside. Again, two LOBs, two MRDs, and a magic ruler. And moment of truth. There you go. All right. And this one has no scuffing whatsoever. What is the deal with that? All right, here's the two promos. As you can see, we have two different directions of which the foiling is going. And what I want to take a look at real quick before we end the video is the scuffing on the back. Okay, I noticed that these cards, like the regular foiling ones, have more scuffs than the ones that have the reverse foil. Now, I'm not sure if this is damage on the card or if it's waxing on the back. In a future video, I'm gonna try cleaning this with my cleaning methods. I know you guys are dying to see that because I know everybody asks me about it. This is gonna be a very interesting experiment. So hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss it. But let's take a look at the other foiling. Moment of truth. There you go. Yeah, see, I knew it. I saw it in the other videos as well. Like, everybody that pulled reverses, they did not have that many scuffs on the back. They had a little bit, but it was not like a crazy amount. What's actually interesting is that these don't even have the same cardstock. These are completely different. You can see the warping. This is actually reminding me of a cardstock of a card that I'm actually working on a video of right now, a very, very rare misprint. I think I just figured out where that card comes from. So there you have it. I mean, that's a huge discovery right there. We now know where reverse foils come from and where regular foils come from. To recap real quick, just before we end the video, if your tin has a matte finish on the wrapper, it has reverse foil promo card on the inside. If your tin has a glossy finish to the wrapper, it likely has a regular foil on the inside. I'm pretty sure that this is the case because now that I think about it, my fellow collector Vintage YuGiOh, he actually got a batch of tins that were all reverse foil, or at least for the most part reverse foil. When he sent me a video of his tins, which we can presume are reverse foils as well because they came from the same batch, they all had that matte finish. So I'm like 99.9% sure that matte wrappers produce reverse foil cards while glossy wrappers produce regular foil cards. So yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy about this finding. I mean, the money didn't go to waste. These are definitely going to go in my collection binder. Man, I cannot wait to show you guys that because I made some massive updates. If you guys want to support this channel for more content, like the video so that it pushes me up in the algorithm. Subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos that I'm going to make. And then comment down below. What I actually want to know for this video is, if you own one of these sealed tins, do you have a matte wrapper or do you have a glossy wrapper? In my collection, I have a majority of matte wrappers. Could it be that reverse foils are actually less rare than regular foils? That would be kind of crazy. So yeah, comment down below. Let me know if you have one of these. And I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.